back again with another match preview for Red Devil Studio. And Pogba returns. Pogba returns. That's going to be a bit of a talking point as we walk at this match preview. But I'm just looking at the comments. A good shout out to Lauren Krasnicki and Don Ragnar. Always good to see you guys in the chat. And from what I can gauge, you're obviously discussing regarding Ollie's tactics, and you're sharing the concerns that I see, and I certainly agree with, in that like this is going to be a very very difficult game, and it's going to be a difficult game because we know about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics, and we know that he struggles against teams that are difficult to break down. And as someone who watched the Watford versus Liverpool game last week, Watford were actually quite unlucky not to win. I think it was Sarr and a few others that missed like open goals or air kicked, because frankly, Watford should have won that game. So a lot of people going and think, oh yeah, easy win for Manchester United. Guys, Watford away, as in when they're at home, where we're going to, should have beaten Liverpool, but for their poor finishing up top. So from the point of view in that, and they were also very defensively astute. It took one or two mistakes and some lapses for them to really sort of, you know, for Liverpool to basically get that win. But Liverpool didn't dominate Watford, not by any stretch of the imagination. So if I'm going to be honest, I'm really concerned going into this game. And if we're talking about early prediction, from my point of view, I actually think that it's at best could be a draw, a 1-1 draw. That's what we're seeing. I think with Nigel Pearson as well coming in as the Watford manager, coming into the team, and really galvanizing Watford, because bear in mind, Watford are at the bottom of the table. They need to start picking up points, and who better to start picking up points and to galvanize your squad than beating Manchester United? We've seen teams already do that in Crystal Palace and West Ham and so on, pick up points against United, and that seems to galvanise their season. So Watford are going to go in this game wanting to really go out and beat Manchester United. Shout out to Raymond Moore. Come on, United. Pogba returns. Really, yeah. So before I get into the team team selection, let me just quickly talk about this guy here. Go back. Sorry, you can't hear me. You see the poor Pogba. Sorry, but there's an audio. Sorry. So now you can hear me. So yes, Paul Pogba is actually a part of the travelling squad to to Watford. Sorry. We don't know yet, and obviously the team news will probably be coming out at about 1 o'clock, so in about an hour's time from now. But we know he's part of the travelling squad, so he will be going to Watford. He is confirmed back in the matchday squad for Watford. For me, this is good news. I know a lot of fans, have been saying Pogba wants in the club, Pogba doesn't want to leave, Pogba's not good. I get that. I completely understand what people are trying to say. Sorry, Don Ragnar, I've cut off. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. I hope you guys can hear me. Can you hear me? But I know there are a lot of United fans that let me say this about Pogba, and hopefully when I start the 100% Manchester United podcast next week, I'll have a conversation about Paul Pogba and what I think they gets a lot of unfair criticism. The reality of Paul Pogba is that a lot of, I believe anyway, a lot of the issues around Paul Pogba has actually come from generated media speculative press. And what I often find unfair is that a lot of the Spurs players had this attitude under Pochettino. A lot of the Chelsea players had this attitude with Mourinho and the previous managers, and none of them were called out for it. That's why I don't understand. That's why I think personally is unfair. Is that and even Arsenal players, Aubameyang, etc., same thing, and yet Paul Pogba's the only one seems to get the stick. But I'll probably talk about that on my 100% Manchester United podcast next week. But in simple terms, Paul Pogba is back at matchday squad. I would be very suspect if he was to actually start, because I think it'd be very, very, given the fact he's been out since early September. So that's what, 3 months now? Well, even more than that. Um, I would be very surprised if he started. However, I have put him in the starting lineup because, to be honest, to me, if he's fit, you start. But I would suspect the ideal world for me would be he plays the first 60 minutes and then comes off. I don't think he should play a full 90 minutes. We don't want him to risk getting injured, especially with Arsenal coming up in the new year. Um, but I think that or that he'll come on in the last 30 minutes in the game. But for me, given that this is a game that we really do need to win, I would personally start Pogba. Um, as Don Wagner said, Pogba has to play advanced in the 10. If Wally drops Fred and plays Pogba deep with McSauce, then Ollie's clues. I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. I think as well for the fact that you shouldn't want to disrupt or the Fred and McTominay. If Ollie's going to play 4-2-3-1, I mean, for me, I think that Ollie should go back to playing 4-3-3. Okay, so sorry. So McTominay should be the most deep line defender. Fred can be a bit more box to box, like he was at Shakhtar Donetsk. And then Pogba can play more advanced. That's where I think it should be. Now, of course, if that defaults to a 4-2 during the game when Watford have under pressure, that's fine. Ped can drop in, and with McTominay, they can both be holding midfielders to protect the back four. Fine. But I think with Pogba there, and also with Fred maybe going a bit forward to support, I think a 4-3-3 is how we should play, and Pogba should play essentially where Lingard and Pereira have been playing over the last. If Solskjaer puts Pogba in a deep line, I mean the only thing, and this is the reason, this is the only rationale that I can see as to why Solskjaer plays Pogba in that position, is that Paul Pogba is one of the only few Manchester United players that can really carry the ball and run with the ball and spray a pass. Fred and McTominay can't really do that. They can make some good passes, they can do defending, they can work hard, but they can't really carry and run the ball that Pogba can. Pogba can literally take the ball from essentially the base of the midfield in front of the defense and carry all the way to the 6-yard box. He's and it's very difficult to get the ball from him. Um, I would love if we had a deep lining midfielder who had that ability. But according to Ollie, apparently he's happy with our midfield, which I find quite disconcerting. Mahesh Prabhu says would come on late in second half or would be an unused sub. Not sure if he's match fit. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I agree with that as well. And Raymond Moore says sooner or later he has to play. He is not going anywhere. Again, I absolutely agree with that. I posted a video I think yesterday, which basically confirmed that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in his press conference that Paul Pogba is not going to be sold in January. So all the media talk, headline talk that he's going to be sold, he's going to leave, etc., etc. He's got 150 million buy clause. I don't think any team is going to pay for that in January, and United are not prepared to sell in January, especially when we have and Ollie, I assume, should be aware of the fact that we do not actually have midfield. We do not have midfield players, so it'd be absolutely ludicrous for the club to sell Paul Pogba in January when the only midfielders we have are Fred, McTominay, Matic, and I guess you could probably include the youth in Ghana and stuff like Gomez hasn't signed a new contract. Matic, I think, wants to leave. We don't have midfield players, and Solskjaer and we can't sell. It's as simple as that. So here's what I predict the starting lineup to be, or here's what I want the starting lineup to be. But obviously, we'll be getting confirmation of that fairly soon, or if we have already got confirmation, guys, please let me know in the comments. So here you go. This is what I would see, what I deem to be the starting lineup, predictive starting lineup. It'll probably be at least, I don't know, I'd say it's probably going to be 90% accurate, I would say. The key thing here is going to be Pogba, really. Is Pogba going to start or not? Because we know David De Gea is going to start in goal. No issue with that, although, I was having a conversation with someone about David De Gea recently, and David De Gea is obviously a very good goalkeeper at Manchester United. but I do feel that he is a goalkeeper of years past, in the sense that while he makes tremendous saves, he does. But I also do think Manchester United need to start looking into a keeper who is better with his distribution, who is better with his, with his legs, in terms of feet, in terms of distributing the ball out. Um, you know, Goalkeepers do more now, in my opinion, than just making good saves. And he does make brilliant saves, and that's important. But distribution, picking up the ball up the field, assisting wingers, carrying the ball, starts an attacking process, and not bringing pressure. Because to be honest, sometimes De Gea's distribution puts pressure on United, and it's not helpful. So that's just something that I just think should 12 people watching. Thank you so much. If you're new to the channel, please, please, please like the vid, like the vid. Drop us a subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, UnitedX, and stay tuned for more Manchester United news. We are going to be doing I'm going to probably cut the stream in the next 10-15 minutes, probably 10 minutes tops, and we're going to be doing a FIFA 20 live stream, a match preview simulation, and hopefully that might give us a good result. We'll see. Anyway, moving on. So De Gea obviously in goal. Wan-Bissaka obviously a beast at right back. Still has issues going forward, and I'm getting concerned that's not actually being coached for him. And my also concern Wan-Bissaka is that he's been playing almost every single game, and he's not been rested. You really need Dallo to come back to at least share some of the load that he needs. That's my opinion anyway. Lindelof and Maguire obviously are going to be the two centre backs. In that sense, I'm going to be paying sure they've been getting better slightly. I do think there is a role for Twan Sebi to come on off the bench to give some added support. But obviously for now, Maguire and Lindelof are going to be the two centre backs. Luke Shaw is obviously going to be left back. I think Brandon Williams, is probably going to be, now that Shaw's fit, is going to probably be more Europa League, League Cup type of sort of, well, not League Cup, FA Cup type of setting now. Sorry. He, I think, is still also getting himself back into fitness. I don't think he had a terrible game against Everton, but it wasn't his best game. So I think that hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll come back into things. Fred and McTominay, obviously. As I said, my preference would be for McTominay to be slightly deeper playing. Just one of them. But I suspect that Ollie Solskjaer will play the two holding and Fred and McTominay against the Watford side, who, looking at the Watford game, to be honest, I think Watford will come at Manchester United. I don't think they're going to want to hit us on the break or etc. I think they will actually come out to play, and they did to a certain extent come out to play against Liverpool. It's just that I think defensively they will still be very difficult to break down. So I just don't see the point in playing two holding midfielders. But because of that, obviously Paul Pogba as a number 10. Paul Pogba has to start. If we're going to unlock, if there's one player that can potentially unlock, one of the things I love about Paul Pogba, I don't care what anyone says, is just how he could just pick a pass and I mean, like something is passing to just unlock defenses has been unreal. He is an impact player on his day. He can be incredible, and sometimes he's the only player where, if we're talking about a player who can actually unlock defenses, get through defenses, it's him. It's him. So as far as I'm concerned, Pogba for me has to start at the very least, give him 60 minutes and then take him off. I think that my issue with him coming on later is that there's a possibility that the match will be lost. So for me, he starts. That's my opinion. He starts. On the right, obviously we have James or Daniel James. He's kind of sort of quieted out recently, Daniel James, unfortunately, but we've got to bear in mind he is only 19. This is literally his first campaign for Manchester United. I'm hoping that he will get better and will improve, and obviously he does have the pace to run at the and that's essentially, that is what's going to cause Watford problems this game. It's going to be the pace of Pogba, Daniel James, Rashford, and Martial running the defence. That's always the issue. And if we can obviously use that to our advantage and not merely just counter-attack, then we can cause Watford problems. On the left, obviously, Marcus Rashford, who, really, seems to be, he seems to be scoring more goals at the left, and I think I said this at the start of the campaign when I started making videos for this channel. Was that Marcus Rashford said multiple times that he's not a number 9. His preferred position is on the left. So when Martial was out all this time, for me it was actually foolish for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to play Rashford as a 9. He should have played Greenwood there, got Greenwood to develop, and have Rashford on the left. I know it would have been a step up for Greenwood, but at least Greenwood can play in that role. And obviously with him being two-footed, I think he could have gained a lot more experience playing in that role in the number 9 with Rashford on the left, and he wouldn't have compromised Rashford and Greenwood as a result. Ole, in my opinion, compromised Greenwood and Rashford by stunting Greenwood's development during that period, but also playing Rashford in a position that I don't think is favourable. But anyway, Rashford is now obviously playing on the left, and Martial's up top. Now, Martial, got a lot of criticism against Everton for being lazy, for not being into the game. Again, playing as a number 9 is a very different than playing on the left wing with your back against goal and trying to link up play and trying to create chances. I never thought that Martial was lazy against Everton. What I did think was that Martial and Rashford at times lacked the composure to make good decisions, and I really hope that improves this game. One of the things that always amazed me about Greenwood is Greenwood's composure. He's such a young lad. I think is he 17, 18 now? I think he's still 17 actually. But what amazes me about his composure, like one touch boom, like how did he even get that goal off? How? The composure, so whereas it was other players, they just sky it over, blast it over, blast against a defender, take a second, look around, make the pass, so I really, really hope that Martial and Rashford, even Pogba for that matter, composure is better in this game, because, Mason Greenwood, outshines them all in that department. Don Ragnar, among British fans / British media, if you're not seen running like a headless chicken, punching your own chest, and make B-Tech warrior faces, you're lazy. Basically, beat Mark Noble. Yeah, that's 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 another thing. The British media is trash. I'll hopefully be doing another video, possibly tonight or I'm not entirely sure, where we're going to talk about fan channels, because fan channels like myself, like big teams like AFTV and United Stand and so on, have been getting a lot of attack recently. We've been seen, us fans, I want your opinion on this, maybe not in this review, but later on. But fans like myself, like you guys have been listening, have been regularly called out for being toxic. For being toxic. We're toxic fans. We shouldn't have an opinion. We should support the team, even if the team plays badly, even though we spent our money on season tickets or merchandise, etc. Even though these players are basically millionaires kicking the ball for 90 minutes, ultimately, to have any opinion on those players, to be negative about these players, is toxic. Now, I agree, criticism should be constructive, definitely, but sometimes when you feel like you're not listened to, it's understandable why fans, just end up getting more angry, more frustrated, because they feel there's a complete disconnect between the team, between the manager, between the board and the fans, and that's not wrong. But we'll talk about that in another video. About predictions, yes. Don Ragnar, Ollie will destroy Greenwood's raw talent in order to turn him into running merchant. That concerns me, because Greenwood has a lot of potential, and he's two-footed, which is brilliant. Raymond Moore, I predict a 2-0 United win. I am going to predict a 1-1 Manchester United draw with Watford, if Pogba doesn't play. If Pogba plays and Pogba steps up, 2-1 to Manchester United. That's what I would say. Lastly, like I said, and just to remind everyone, I will be doing a Manchester United. Stay tuned to that FIFA stream, 20 stream live stream as soon as this is done. Probably about probably do it at 1 o'clock. So at 1 o'clock, FIFA 20 stream, which will basically be a match prediction. We'll see what FIFA simulates the Manchester United Watford game to be. Hopefully, it's win for Manchester United. We'll see. Don Wagner, big up all the fan channels, big up all the diverse range of white guys, black guys, Asian guys, etc. from the world over engaging fan opinion, something mainstream media doesn't like. Exactly. And thank you guys. And this is the thing, guys. This is why I do this. I started this channel really heavily. This channel 6 months ago, and it was getting slow. And initially, there was a bit of a boom, and then it went quiet. And I thought, should I still continue doing this thing? And the only reason why I continue doing this thing is because of people like you guys listening in, tuning in, getting involved, getting on the comments, and engaging and discussing and building this community. And that's why I do these videos. Not because I want to make money or because, I want to, I want to create controversies. Because I want to obviously discuss my thoughts about United with all the fans that want to listen and want to have their say. It's really as simple as that. 1-1 draw. Watford and United balance and Ollie's and M2 will balance each other out. I agree because I do because Peterson, who was obviously the Leicester manager, will I think has enough moxie, to cause us a few problems. Definitely, no doubt about that. 15 people watching, man. I should probably really do these I should probably do these match. I think this is going to be a trend. I probably will do these match previews about an hour, I think, or so before the game. So I think there's more engagement with Manchester United just before kickoff. But it is over and out for me. So what do you think, guys? Post your match predictions in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio if you haven't already. Follow us on Twitter, WeUnitedX. Check out our Discord community and support us on Patreon if you want latest Manchester United news a bit quicker. Our Red Devil Studio Live podcasts are on Apple and Spotify, so check out those out. And stay tuned for our post-match reaction, which will hopefully be positive. We'll see what happens. But also our FIFA live stream. And yeah, have a nice day, guys. So take care, everybody. Have a nice day, guys.